Well, welcome everyone to our latest edition of Stories for Healing. As you know, this is a project that started in the end of October, and here now we find ourselves in 2021, still going strong. Alas, that means we still need these stories, but I think these stories are always useful. I know they are for us who tell them. They're healing and transformative for us just to tell them, and hopefully they are for you as well. Today, I have a really special guest, Flavia Everman, who is rejoining us and has a story for us. So please, Flavia, tell us a story.
Thank you, Jim. So I visit Rwanda, Africa, and on my second visit, I had the greatest opportunity to meet with a village of potters. And as a storyteller, I love stories, and I was thinking, wow, these would be really great to get these stories from these people. And so they were very shy, and they didn't really know exactly what I wanted. So I said, okay, I'll trade you. I'll trade you stories. So I'll give you a story, and then maybe you can give me a story back. And of course, they don't speak English. So I had a translator translating. So it's like it would go, I would say something in English, and the translator wasn't the best, but he was pretty good. And then he would translate it to Kinyarwanda. They would translate it back to him and to me. So it was quite a lengthy process. But I said, I'll tell you a story. Well, I tried to think of something that was very more action and less words. So I told Rafi's story of the spider on the floor. If you haven't heard it, it goes something like this. There's a spider on the floor, on the floor. There's a spider on the floor, on the floor. Who could ask for any more? But a spider on the floor. There's a spider on the floor, on the floor. And the spider then crawls up to your toes and he says, there's a spider on your toe, on your toe. There's a spider on your toe, on your toe. Oh me, oh my, oh no, I have a spider on my toe. There's a spider on my toe, on my toe. The spider then, so I used my hand as the spider and I went along with the children. And as I got to each body part, I put my hand up on the children. And of course the children screamed and having this spider crawling all over them because it gets on their knees and it gets on their tummy and then it gets on their shoulder and it gets on their neck and then it gets on their head. And the kids are like, with this spider on the floor. And so as it gets on the head, then it jumps off and it jumps off. And then I said, there's a spider on the floor, on the floor. There's a spider on the floor, on the floor. Who could ask for any more? But a spider on the floor. There's a spider on the floor, on the floor. And I say, what do we do with spiders when we find them? And usually in America, if you find them on the side, what do you do with the spider? You smash it, right? So I stomped my foot very, very hard and I let my hand go. And then I went down and I kind of picked up this imaginary dead spider and I flipped it into the woods and here we go. Now the spider is all gone. Well, the chief, the kids, of course, they loved it, having this spider. And it was very simplistic, very repetitive so that the people could get the meaning of it. And I could go slow enough where the translation could go. And a lot of them didn't really need the translation because once they kind of got the gist of it, with the spider was crawling up there. It's just a cute little preschool, little story that I tell. Well, the chief of the village got up and he says, we are like that spider. And I thought, what? Where did that come from? He says, everyone is trying to squash us. Whenever we go out into the rest of Rwanda, the people look down on us. They disregard us. They try to squash us. And I thought, oh my, no. That is not what I had in mind. It was just a simple children's story. But I realized then and there that the power of our words are so important because we don't know where everybody else is. We might glibly say something, but the person on the other end of our words may be coming from a totally different perspective, and they may be hearing something totally different than what we just said. And I thought to myself, wow, I really have to pay attention to what I say and who I say it to. So from then on, I've really, really been very careful about how I treat my words because they really, really are more important and more powerful than we really, really realize they are. So please, everyone out there, please be really, really careful with your words. And I was very shocked and very, I was heartbroken that they would think that this little story was a put down to them. And I said, no, 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 here, I will tell you another story, a very inspirational story. And so I told them this story. This story is actually from West Africa, and it's about a jaguar and a turtle. And I said, once upon a time, Turtle was walking along the jungle. He was minding his own business. And then along came Jaguar, and he pounced in front of him and he said, Turtle, I'm going to eat you for lunch. And the turtle said, okay, but can you give me 5 minutes? Jaguar looked at the turtle and he thought, 5 minutes? Where is the turtle going to go in 5 minutes? I mean, the turtle is slow. My sharp teeth are going to eat him, so he can't. I mean, what is he going to do for 5 minutes? And besides, can I wait 5 minutes for lunch? Yeah, sure. So the jaguar gave the turtle 5 minutes. Well, the turtle proceeded to dig in the road. And he dug a big hole in the road. He went to the side of the road and he dug the grass all up on one side of the road. He rolled in the dirt all the way across to the other side, and he dug up that side of the road and tore the grass and put it all over everywhere. He rolled and he dug and he rolled and he dug and he tore up this section of this road, literally tore it up. For 5 minutes, the little turtle did this. Jaguar kept looking on like, what? What is he doing? That is the most bizarre. He couldn't understand what in the world he was doing. After his 5 minutes were up, the turtle came back and he says, okay, Jaguar, I'm ready now. Jaguar, he looked at the road. It was a mess. He looked at the turtle, who was all dirty, and he says, okay, I got to ask you, what are you doing? What did you do that for? The little turtle, he looked up at the jaguar and he says, all of the animals of the forest know that I am small and helpless compared to the jaguar. But now, when the other animals come to this spot in the road, they will see the mighty struggle that the little turtle put up against the jaguar, and it will give them courage as well. And then the jaguar did eat the turtle. And I knew that all of the Rwandans had gotten the message, because all at once they all went, "Aww." So I knew that they had gotten it. And I said, but I tell you, resistance is never futile. The chief then got up and he stood before the people, and he literally gave a sermon about how they were to keep going, no matter what the people did to them on the outside and tried to squash them like the spider, that they were to continue on going forward and keeping on for the sake of their children and their children's children. And I've come to work with this group of people. They're very protective of their children, loyal to their children, and they care a lot for their children. So I know with them, it's like, even though they sacrifice today, they know that it will be better for their children later. For you see, resistance is never futile.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. What a great combination, and a great, not a thread between them, a cord between those two stories.
I was able to get 2 stories from them also, but I didn't really know what I was doing. So I had to go back, of course, and then collect the authors. And so I've actually gotten those written down, but I don't have them published yet because I'm kind of in a lawsuit snag, or not a lawsuit, copyright snag.
Copyright snag, sure.
Yeah, so I need to get it internationally copyrighted so that it belongs to the people, but I'm kind of stuck there.
The ending of the turtle story is one where I think I love it, and I think a lot of our modern adaptations of fairy tales would clean that up,
Yes,
so to speak, right? And they would say, "Oh, he didn't die. That's terrible." But the message that the people got from it was the message you had hoped for, which was, even if you happen to die, your your legacy can live on.
Right.
And there's a reason to struggle, even when it may, in fact, in the moment be hopeless. It's take the longer view, it isn't. But if
Because if you
and
look at all the wars like the Civil War and the Revolutionary War and even the Holocaust and all of these things, and even like the genocide in Rwanda, I
Mhm,
go to the museum and I look for those the people that resisted.
mhm,
Those are really, really powerful because even maybe they died in the end, but who did they save? Who did
yeah,
they
yeah.
protect? Who did they carried on from there on? And it's like really powerful. So I
And
think
it's another source of hope, actually.
yes,
It's another source of hope to say, no matter how hard this is right now, and I may not even see my way out of this, I can still see that what I'm doing has value, and others can benefit from it, even if I don't seem to see how I will myself. Of course, none of us want to expect that it's it's going to all end in our personal demise. But even no matter how dark it seems, there is a way of looking at it that extends that further. So that's great. All right. I want to thank everyone for coming to another episode and for participating in this wonderful project, for Flavia for her wonderful stories. I want to remind you that please share these stories on the Facebook and on YouTube. You can find them anytime in either place. But more importantly, share with each other. Find ways of seeing the long term and seeing the hope that we can each bring to each other, and that's what this is really all about. So we'll see you next time.